I believe that we have managed finally to understand that we need long-term partners, that we need those whose interests and ideas are congruent with the interests of the nation, that they themselves and us have to understand that tourism is a business that has not only to make tourists happy, but also the people of the nation happy. Otherwise, it doesn't make sense. And I believe that we are making good progress in this, and I will give you a few examples afterwards. Most of the investors now understand what are our goals and how to proceed, and if they don't know, then we tell them what to do, and sometimes we need the help of our partners. Most recently, it was very strong support of our Italian partners and Dr. Clini's team, and I will come to this project later, very briefly. So, if I may say just a few words about sustainability, because I used it so many times already this evening, and those days everybody uses the word sustainability. And there are so many services and products and programs, private or public, that are labeled sustainable. It's often used as a vague marketing shorthand to convince consumers that the project is somehow green or guilt-free or even hip or desirable. Sometimes it's only greenwashing the business as usual. But there has definitely to be a real substance to back up the claim. But first, what does it really mean? There is, if you look at the some definitions in the dictionary, you can find this one: able to be sustained. This is definitely not too helpful, but if you look in some dictionaries, you will find the definition of sustainable just like this. Then there is the definition of able to be sustained for an indefinite period without damaging the environment or without depleting a resource, renewable. This is already better. Finally, I'm tempted to use, based on recent practice, something else. Sustainable means whatever you think it does or want it to. Of course, it's not. So what it really does mean, it should refer to the ability of a project or sector to be on an ongoing basis over the long term a positive force in society and in the physical environment. So while sustainability may often be trivialized, the true integration of this concept into all policies is critical. And nowhere it is more critical than in tourism, not just, as I mentioned, our future and our children's and grandchildren's future depend on it, though it would be a reason good enough, but also because travelers care, and they care a great deal, and they care to an ever-increasing extent. And travelers who care about the quality of the environment in the destinations they travel, and the service, is it sustainable or not in the destinations they travel, they are no longer a market niche. Rather, they are the market. And whichever nation and tourism destination does ignore this fact, I strongly believe they do it on their own peril. So, in any case, to achieve real sustainability in tourism, not just to advertise, there have to be several components, several pillars, and most of you are very much familiar with the three I put on the slide here. Economic sustainability, the ability of a project and collectively a destination to be economically viable by producing a sufficient return to capital invested. It's a must, otherwise it doesn't work. Social sustainability, the degree to which a project or destination is a positive factor culturally and socially to the community. To extent to which a project is of a place, not just in a place. Environmental, of course, the ability to create and operate a property, project or destination in a manner that is net neutral or positive for the environment and space in which it exists and beyond. And why did I put this? Fourth, because I believe that there has to be political sustainability. And I know that talking about political sustainability in the same breath as environmental and social seems almost sacrilegious, but if a project cannot gain political support and cannot sustain political support, then the project will either fail or be born but not well be developed, or it will be replaced, or even worse, it will stay like this for decades and it will just harm the environment. This is why I strongly believe that political sustainability actually has to be in place together with all the three other very important pillars. One more thing about tourism. As much as self-evident is may seem, tourism is a place-based industry. Visitors are in effect consuming a destination that very much includes the environment as a whole. If the way a project operates impairs the environment, then the development will have devalued or destroyed a critical part of the destination that the project was designed to take advantage of in the first place. And overdevelopment or poorly conceived development is thus ultimately self-defeating. Many of us think, and I was thinking 10 years ago, that we have to build beautiful hotels, 5-star, 4 Seasons, Radisson, Mandarin, whatever, and tourists will come. Well, they might come, but they don't come because of the 4 Seasons, because 4 Seasons they can find in 78 other locations in the world, or Accor hotels they can find in 3,500 other destinations. They come because of the destination, of the nature, of the people they will expect, the food they will consume, etc., etc. And they need, of course, a very good service, but they consume the destination. And this is very, very important to remember when developing tourism, especially sustainable. And why did we, and why are we so committed to environment and to sustainable, also partly ecotourism? Well, first, it is definitely the right thing. There is a fundamental moral imperative as humans, as a government, to improve the environment. Second, it is the key to improving the lives of our citizens. Third, it is in our direct national interest, geopolitically and regionally. We believe that the commitment to environmental issues will improve, not impair, our relationships with other nations, especially our neighbors. And four, we have a lot of catching up to do, given the lack of attention to environmental issues at various times in the past. I can only remind you of many, many black spots, or how do you call it, hot spots in the Western Balkan region, yes, which we have inherited from the previous communist and socialist era. So we cannot afford making one more mistake in that term. And there is one more word which I would like to mention. It is the word co-opetition. By intention, I will miss this part about the roles of the public and the private sector, because I believe that until now I have managed to explain how we as a government see the further development and how often we have to invite the private sector to help us in realizing our goals. And the private partner PPP, public-private partnership, is definitely critical, but that we cannot be best friends. We can be good, reliable partners, and that each role has to be very well defined. This is why we believe that the public sector, as mentioned in this slide, should build, plan, regulate, provide incentives, but not too much, invest in infrastructure, very important, and maintain and improve equity. And the private sector, very simply, has to bring capital and to operate responsibly in an open and reliable manner. Of course, interested very much in return on investment, because this is the vital interest of the private sector. This is why we have to regulate a little bit. But the middle part, the public-private partnership, is definitely the right thing, how we believe one economy should be developed, not only a small economy, compact economy of Montenegro, but also other economies.